We're
Okay,
talking about
so
what's gonna be. Oh,
it's
What?
okay. We're recording now, and you guys are in some hotels. I don't know. You're Pennsylvania or in Arizona. Did you just flip? Is that what you two did? What'd you do?
yeah, we did. We passed each other over the Tucson airspace. I
Okay.
landed as Puya and Charles went to Pennsylvania. Hmm.
Tagged out. That's right. We do that because it gives us a chance to see more people, also you know, collect data on how things are going,
Okay.
dial in knobs a little bit.
So, Ben, I just had a coffee with somebody and I was talking about our field work. And
Hmm.
I said, yeah, this is what they're doing. Like, well, they're like, and they said, like, well, Ben runs that, right? I'm like, yeah, Ben
Oh,
runs that. Yeah, that's right.
that's
Okay.
pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um, so I want to do two things. Today is October 29th. It's been a big like attention for the last several days on the podcast to these big national events, big national trends. I want
Hmm.
to talk today has got some really big symbolic pieces that I want to reference. Then I want to talk about the the bombing of the firebomb of
Yeah. Yeah.
the ballot box. Or it's happened in 3 states so far, including Washington State. And then I want to
Those
talk about the
motherfuckers came
number
to our backyard, man.
exactly.
Those
They
motherfuckers.
only
I just
got
wanted
as
to
far as the
start with that.
border. I mean, they only got as far as the border. Vancouver's right down there.
I know. I'm taking it personal.
All right.
Go ahead. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
So let's start here with the third congressional district. Okay, so I'm gonna show visually where the third congressional district is in the state of Washington. Um, this is the map, and the yellow dots are the geographic boundaries of the third congressional district. It's really quite large geographically, all right, and it covers a lot of terrain, and it's represented right now by a Democratic candidate, Representative Marie Gluesenkamp Perez. It had been represented by Jamie Herrera Butler for several terms, and she was quite popular and probably would still be representing it, except she got beat by a MAGA crazy dude. Um, Joe Kent, right? Is that his name? Joe Kent. Yeah. Um, and then he lost to Gluesenkamp Perez. It's a very tight race. It's neck and neck this time. Gluesenkamp Perez won by only a couple thousand votes in 2022. Um, so we have been working there. It is one of the two, I guess, primary places. A question for you, Ben. One of the two primary places that we've been working in the state of Washington. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And it's a rematch. So it's Joe Kent and Gluesenkamp Perez again this year. So other than the CDO3 here, we're working in LD14 in Yakima, but in comparison, the federal race is much, much more of a priority for us. We've been sending out teams every weekend since summer.
And where do we go when we've been going? Do we go specifically to some one area, or do we go a couple different places?
We go a couple of different places depending on where the campaign needs us. Because their headquarters is down in Vancouver, so we've been there a couple of times. But we've also been to Rochester and Battleground, which are a little bit closer to
Battleground.
Olympia. And we've
Okay.
also done a couple of stuff in Centralia as well and Longview. So actually, if you just kind of take I-5, we've been kind of like in multiple places down there.
Okay. Okay. And we've had teams going down there, and we're gonna make an ask here in a minute for everybody to engage if you're not already traveling to make an to engage this weekend coming up. Well, actually starting today. But first, let's set the stage. So in the third congressional district on Sunday night or Saturday night, there was a fire set in one of the ballot drop boxes in a highly Democratic area of the district. And there was an explosive device that was slid into the box, like the way you slide a ballot in, that was slid into the box. Um, and at the same evening, there was also an incendiary device put into a Portland, in Oregon, drop box. And then there's been one other one done in Arizona. The early kind of reports are that it's possible the same person did this one in Vancouver, Washington, and in Portland, because there's some evidence that might be so. But in the big picture, this is a direct assault on voting. Okay, it's a direct assault on
100%.
voting. Okay, so
And a direct assault on on our efforts in all those places. We're knocking on doors in all three of those locations.
yeah, so if you wanted to metaphorically and also literally blow up an election, and cast doubt and make everybody angry and then question the integrity of it all. I think trying to blow up ballot boxes is one. I mean, that's a logical way someone might go. All right, that's something that
Yeah,
somebody might do.
yeah. So we've heard stories of where they find a bunch of ballots in a storm drain. There's always stories of like boxes disappearing and that kind of thing. But this is terrorism, right? This is not just destroying these votes. This is doing it with fire. This is doing it in a way that everyone can see. You have destroyed this box that can no longer be used anymore. It's covered on the news. And now people are, I mean, I'd be afraid to drop my mail in
Yeah,
my ballot in
totally.
the Dropbox, right?
Right.
Because is it going to blow up while I'm putting my thing in there, right? Some people who are lukewarm on voting in general, they're like, oh, I'm just not going to vote, no big deal. Now they're gonna be like, what? I mean, really? I might be in danger if I go. Oh, no way, dude. I'm not gonna vote. So this is a big deal. It's a big deal, and it pisses me off because it feels like some of our work was undone in some of these places,
Mm-hmm.
and those votes are hard to come by. Um, Marie Glusenkamp Perez won by what 4,000 votes last time.
Yeah, I'm looking that up exactly, but it was very close. Yes.
Yeah. Um, that's about how many doors we've knocked on actually in Washington State. So the margin there, our people have been working a ton, putting in hours and hours down there volunteering for every single weekend almost.
Yep.
So to feel like our work's undone, and also our team down in Portland, to feel like our work has been undone, it pisses me off. That pisses me off.
Yeah, Marie Glusenkamp Perez won by
2,000 votes,
2,629 votes in 2022. Yes.
dude. We've knocked on that many doors already.
More than 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
Mm.
and here's I want to show this.
in
Um,
that district. Yep, we've knocked on more than that.
this is
I wouldn't be surprised if we talked to that many people already.
We
these
Go
definitely
ahead.
talked to as many people in that ballot box. 400, was it?
So here's some of the can you guys see the images?
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
the fire there, like they blew the door open and all of this and torched these ballots. Um, and so the primary thing, well, what are we being told right now from the Glusenkamp Perez campaign? What do they want and what do they need right now?
So
Ben.
right now they need to identify as much as they can, as best as they can, who it is like these ballots belong to, right? It's a fact-finding mission right now. And during crunch time, they need to reach out to the swaths of voters who might logically place their ballots in this box over X period of time. They need to reach out to these potential voters to make sure that they return another ballot, right?
Right.
Or some kind of like confirmation there. It's such a sudden pivot that what they're doing right now is just calling people. And it's not even like another separate event. It's just their regular phone banks that they've repurposed for this. So
Mm,
something that we're going to send out later to you all, right, is how to join. And you will open it up and you might see this just looks like a regular phone bank. Why it's not like, find missing ballots or whatever, right? Because it's such a sudden move that they're using whatever they have on hand to just try to reach these people. Um, and they have to
Yeah,
do
and
it
if you're
very fast
yeah, and
because
if you're right, go ahead. Sorry.
oh no, all good. Because like you have to do it very fast. Even though with the very easy voting here in Washington, having a ballot mailed to you like a replacement might take a while. You have to print one out. And so printing one out and then filling it all out and then sending it back, right? Or dropping it off, will take some time. And
right. So
locating these voters would take some time. There's only 7 days left.
So if it's my ballot that's in that mailbox, it's burned now. First of
Hmm.
all, I have to become aware that this happened. Okay,
That's correct.
Right.
I have to even know that it happened because a lot of voters will not. Okay,
Hmm.
so I have to become aware that it happened. Then I have to find out if my ballot was burned or had gotten through previously as a voter.
Exactly.
And then if I can't find my ballot and it did get burned, you're telling me I gotta print it out or I'm gonna have to go someplace to get
Yeah.
this taken care of, right? That is mobilization, right? That is like,
Yeah.
we got to call people, we got to knock doors. So if we're not already traveling around the country, this is an absolute time opportunity for people to do some work.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. So and we don't know exactly what the campaign is going to ask us to do or ask the voters to do. So there's a multi-step process we just talked about. We don't know which thing comes first. So instead of speculating, you should join this Zoom or join the
On
call
the
they're
phone
going to have
bank.
today. Is today?
It's
We're
uh it's today. There's one at like I think 3 p.m., but I could be wrong.
3 p.m.
But
Pacific.
yeah, there's one every day, basically.
Okay, and they'll likely stand
Yeah.
some more up. So the what you should do is David's going to send this link out. You should also just continue to go to the Marie Glusenkamp Perez Mobilize
Mm-hmm.
page.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sign up for a Mobilize account. You can subscribe. You can get emails, or if you don't want to do that, you can just check it every day. But she will have, and we'll send out the page too, David, so that folks can just check it. There's
Yeah.
probably going to be some specific operation where they ask for people who can go after these folks and find them, notify them, find them. And some of this is there's actually there's like no way of there's no scan as you enter it, as you drop it into the box that says these people place their ballot in this box.
Yeah.
So they're gonna just contact a bunch of people that haven't voted yet, and they're gonna say, please make sure you vote. Maybe they're gonna ask them if you voted by mail, but it'll be a lot of people they contact
Yeah.
just in case.
Exactly. So like right now, the most important thing is to actually hop on the phone bank and do the identification process of this. There's one at 3 p.m. today and 5 p.m., both Pacific time, and there won't be another one until Thursday.
For
So
now,
for now,
as we know
for
now, they
now,
could stand one up tomorrow.
right. But
Shout out to Leanne Skoglund who told us about this on our community Slack channel. If you haven't joined that yet, she raised that to us, about a couple hours ago, something like that. So join our Slack channel for the latest opportunities also as people share. The other thing is there's going to be in-person door knocking. And although we are not mobilizing in a big way for Marie anymore, most of our best volunteers are going to these swing states because the highest priority is that we still need to win the presidency. We need to keep the Senate. We need to win back the House. And Marie's a part of the House equation. So folks are traveling. If you're going to knock on doors for Marie, if you're not traveling already, we need you down in the third. And there are also links to volunteer in person with Marie.
Yeah. So everybody who's getting this podcast, we're saying this to you exactly what we're going to say on our Zoom tomorrow night, Wednesday night, our final stretch Zoom that we're doing. When we talk about the third, we're saying, here's the action steps. The action steps are join phone banks. The action steps are, if you're not already traveling around the country this weekend, to go and spend a day knocking on doors for Marie Glusenkamp Perez. For everybody that's not already going to be traveling, this is a set of action steps that you can take right now. And this is a direct assault on our common power. That's what it is. It's a direct assault on voting. There's no way in our imagination that we would say that somebody who cares about democracy would blow up a ballot drop box. It's not what you would do, okay? Is blow up a ballot drop box. So this is one more way that people are trying to undermine the integrity of this body of work, this election, trying to make us doubt it and trying to beat Marie Glusenkamp Perez. Let us do this work now so that we can enjoy her victory even more when she wins on election day.
And let me also, there's some people watching this who are like, where is Vancouver? Some people think Vancouver is just in Canada. There are a lot of people. There are hundreds of people that are subscribed to us now. There are 400 new subscribers actually joined in the past week or 2 weeks that are not in Washington State at all. So forgive us, y'all. We are based in Seattle. This is our backyard, and we're fired up about our backyard. So that's why we're telling people to go down to Vancouver, Washington, and do some work for us. If you're not around there, that's okay. keep working with us in other states, keep phone banking with us in other states, or working locally with a partner there.
So kind of pulling back the lens then for the country today, um, this evening in Washington, D.C.,
Mm.
Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, is going to give a speech on the National Mall and in the Ellipse, which is an area right behind the White House.
Mm-hmm.
That is the area where Donald Trump gave his speech on January 6, 2021, this insurrection mobilization speech. She is going to give a speech there about the importance of democracy and the importance of us winning this election. There's gonna be several dozens of thousands of people there who will be there in support. It is what they are billing as their closing arguments speech. All right. I think they actually have three closing arguments. I think the one is around freedom, particularly reproductive freedom. That's one. Second one is about democracy. That's today's. And the third one is about how unstable and horrible Donald Trump is. I think they've been hitting all three of those and perfectly in synchronicity. She's
That's
going to
good.
give that speech. All right.
What is it going to be about?
About democracy. She's going to the
Okay.
location where Trump,
Yeah.
galvanized them to go to the Capitol.
Yeah, she's going to reference what he said for sure.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And I so appreciate the way the Harris campaign has been uh, aggressively prosecuting the case for democracy and against Trump in their interviews, in their campaign rallies, in where they go, who they have with them. So that's going to happen. Also, this afternoon, Donald Trump is going to give a speech in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Allentown, Pennsylvania.
That's what it is. There's Allentown. That's I was trying to think of the name of the city. Um, he's still going.
Well, as far as I know, he's still going.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
a highly Hispanic town, and his where he's going to be speaking is in like the predominantly Latino part of town. So
It's
this
a
is
highly Puerto Rican
highly
town.
Puerto Rican
It's,
part of town. Okay,
yeah.
this has all
Yeah.
the makings of a disaster. All right.
It does, but isn't that great for Donald? That's exactly what Donald Trump would do. He would completely alienate and target one group of people and then just happen to be in their neighborhood the next day. I don't think it's intentional. I just think that he's a disaster. He's a moving, living disaster, and he causes disasters for everybody and himself wherever he goes. And he's about to step in it over there. They're already planning protests, I think.
Oh yeah, for sure. Um, and it's in Pennsylvania that there's 450,000 Puerto Rican Americans in the state of Pennsylvania, the largest chunk in Philadelphia. So their racism towards Puerto Rico, which last night drew rebukes from the lead Catholic Archbishop of Puerto Rico, who demands an
Mm-hmm.
apology from Donald Trump, the Republican Party governor leader of Puerto Rico saying you either apologize, Donald Trump, or I'm going to quit the Republican Party. Um, this is I'm so glad that we are very clear about who he is. Like he has left no doubt about who he is. Those two things are going to happen today. That is 7 days out. That's the kind of pieces that happen 7 days out. Charles, right now you are, and Ben, you were up until you flew to Arizona, literally just a couple hours away from Allentown. All right,
Mm-hmm.
in Pennsylvania. So right now we're working in you two embody it. We're working in the two most important states in this country, Pennsylvania and Arizona. If one candidate wins both of those states, they will win the presidency. All right,
Mm-hmm.
they will. So are we going to be there next weekend too? This coming weekend in both these states?
Yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, we're concentrating our forces on Arizona and Pennsylvania. Partly due to the high stakes, but also partly due to where our volunteers are going to be. It's going to be super cool because like the fieldwork team is all going to launch from Arizona, and we're all going to try to end in Pennsylvania. So it's a
Oh,
bit of like a reunion of sorts too. We've been all over the country the last couple of weeks here. There's been little snippets of seeing each other here and there, saying hi at the airport, going into the office on our off day, that kind of thing. But it will be cool to be in Arizona and Pennsylvania next week with everyone.
Yeah. And again, I think that weekend we're gonna have 400 or 500 people deployed.
Yeah.
220 something in Phoenix. Another 150 in Wisconsin, another 100 and
In
180
90.
maybe, 190
Yeah.
now in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Um,
We have a
yeah,
Michigan team this week, last weekend, or this coming weekend?
this one
No,
coming up.
there's a Michigan team and they're doing, I think they're close to 70 actually for the weekend coming up. Yeah.
All of these numbers, which are now the new normal for this election for Common Power, are beyond the size of any previous team that we had
Oh yeah.
ever sent anywhere, right? They're just, and I keep hearing, because I kind of like things flow my way in terms of information and reports. I keep hearing all of these people say that I traveled to X state with Common Power, and the organization on the ground was amazing. And the way in which people were shepherded was amazing. And that's when I say, like, that's when I take credit for it all. Okay. I'm like, yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
I, I,
We're
I,
aware.
I
We're
okay,
aware.
okay, great.
Yeah,
Um,
it's what those volunteers in Pennsylvania say. It's that one guy. It's that one guy over
it's
there.
not funny.
That
Yeah,
Um,
that
that's
says it.
right.
So I hear it from a lot of different people about all of this. And so the special sauce that you've built to scale us is amazing. So I pulled out uh, the 2023 I'm sorry, fieldwork report. Okay.
Look at
Ben,
that.
Mm,
volunteers for
wow.
voters, right? I think you came up with that phrase. Is that right, Ben?
No, it's been a while for a while, right? Charles?
This guy right here.
Yeah, Charles.
Volunteers for voters. Okay. All right. So
Like I
Ben, you
swear it's
came
on
up
the
with it. Way to
website
go,
since
Ben. Okay. So
2020.
look at
But
this.
Ben
Here's
did make that. I think she made that report.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
It
Hmm.
says in teams, in community, with local partners, all year, every year. All right.
Hmm.
So page two, and I love these reports because I give them to people and I say, like, here, look, here's our work. Here's our work. It says 30,246 doors in 2023. Okay.
That's
30,246
cute.
doors.
That is
What?
so cute.
So I want to ask you, Ben, where are we at right now in terms of our doors for 2024?
Well, let me just say, as of yesterday, we hit a giant milestone. Puya has been tracking our numbers the entire year, and he reported that as of yesterday, we've crossed the 100,000 door mark for Common
Wow.
Power.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's first time in history for this organization, right? First time that we've hit over
Yeah.
100,000 doors within a single year. So
Yeah.
that has been amazing. Kind of hard
Yeah.
to wrap your head around.
And the day he announced that, we knocked on another 10,000.
Hmm.
So the new goal for this year is 150,000 doors. That's the new goal.
And 150,000 doors. And was last year again.
Oh,
500,000 voters contacted. So I don't know if you have a number do you know a number now roughly that we would be for this?
So no, I don't
uh,
know.
well, I
But the
mean,
average
we can.
is like three voters per door, something like that. But
Well, the thing is that like we hit 1.1 million back in 2022. So I would imagine we would be close to like 2 million this year.
Okay.
yeah, and
Yeah.
these are apples and oranges.
Yeah.
So there are going to be organizations that, you know, reach out to 3, 5, 6 million voters. But that's because you can send out 10,000 text messages with
Right,
one
right,
press
right,
of a
right,
button,
right.
right? And so you're like, this is a voter outreach. This is
Yeah.
a voter
Yeah.
outreach. So we have, as an organization that specializes in sending people out into the field in person,
Mm.
on the ground,
Mm-hmm.
as an organization that specializes in being on the ground, period, for education also.
Mhm.
Like this, we do virtual stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
what we do best and what we do better than anybody else is send human beings to the places where history was made, to make more history. So that's what we do. So while the voter contacted in like 2023 has one of those like, hey, this is mixed in with some text messages and phone banks and stuff. To us, our most important metrics are doors knocked. It's
Okay.
it's the human, feet on the ground, blood, sweat, and
Mm-hmm.
tears. Literally blood, sweat, and tears. I mean, people, people getting bit by dogs and stuff.
Yep.
I was chased by a dog actually. Um, that's just a part of the work. So that's the one that we're most proud of. 100,000 doors, 150,000 doors right now. And those are hard won doors. Those are rural doors, or you're driving down a mile long driveway to get to one voter. Or it's, you're going into a neighborhood that only has Trump signs in it. And you're trying to
Yeah.
find the Democrats that are inside of those neighborhoods, or even at the doors with Trump voters. Those are tough doors. Those are tough doors. We're really proud of that number.
Mm-hmm. I think I also think it's heavier than last year too, because like I feel like last year we were in neighborhoods where
Uh-huh.
you
Mhm.
walk like 5 steps and you're at another door, right? Like it's like very dense and there's like a lot of opportunity for just doing more in a shorter amount of time. And to a certain extent, like this year, to Charles's point about each door takes us longer to get and harder to get. And so it's it's even hard to compare this year to last year because even though the numbers, the metric might be the same, the work that goes into like the next door is so much more. It feels more like a curve at this point than a line.
Yeah, that's great. That's a really good point to make because they're doors, but they're differentially acquired doors,
Yeah.
right? So one other number I want to ask you about, this was in 2023 again, it was 300 plus volunteers. 300 plus volunteers. What are we roughly at, right? I mean, what would you say we're going to be at?
Well, right now we're at 1,200 volunteers for
Yeah.
the year.
Really?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
what we'll be at by the end, I don't know exactly what that number is, but I know that we are just in the fall, we're at about 800.
Yeah.
So,
Really? Since
um,
like Labor Day?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, since we
Mm-hmm.
started mobilizing in the fall. So it's more people than we've ever mobilized. I bet it's more volunteers, like pure volunteers, than any organization has mobilized in like during this Trump decade,
Mm-hmm.
outside of the DNC. I think the DNC is the only place, the National Democratic Party, and the state parties. I think that there's no other organization that has mobilized this many pure volunteers. Paid
Yeah.
canvassers, yeah,
Yeah.
they can blow us out of the water, but pure volunteers, I don't know. I doubt it.
Actually, there is one more number here. There's this was in 2023, 15 next generation leaders last year. What would you
Mm.
ballpark us at right now?
Um, we have, I think about 30. So 30, so we have, no, wait, let me break that down a little bit more. So in the team leadership position, we have like about 20 Action Academy grads or Action Academy team leads. So young leadership and actual leadership positions. And
And that's
in
out of
terms of like
50. That's out of
out of
50.
50, yeah, out of 50. So like around 20. And
20
then
out of
for in
50
terms
team
of
leads. Uh-huh.
hmm And in terms of sponsorship, so like getting people to develop their leadership in the ground, I would say that we're sponsored like about 25 to 30 Action Academy folks already. Yeah,
And
Yep.
or
then a
will by the end
bunch
of
of
the season.
teachers too, right?
And a bunch of teachers. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
when we've been asking people in this final stretch to fund to help us fund as many volunteers as we can. I've talked about from your guidance, I've talked about three different kinds of people that we're funding. We're funding Action Academy,
Mm-hmm.
or current college age students.
hmm
We're funding some educators who are teachers around the country, and we're also funding
A few dozen, yeah, a few dozen teachers actually.
few
Yep.
dozen teachers. Okay, and we're funding some mature volunteers that are the folks who are really great glue on the ground in some of these places, right?
Yep. Yep.
Um, and so,
Yeah, that's a part of it. I think that the other thing this happened actually when we realized these doors are tougher, is that we actually leaned into bringing in more of these like specialist volunteers and keeping them out in the field for longer. So folks, like we talk about this guy Greg all the time, who's this super volunteer who can knock on a ton of doors, He's great with the community. He will go anywhere. He's been traveling as much as we have, actually, the fieldwork
Mm-hmm.
team. There's one
Yep.
person in America that's been traveling as much as the fieldwork team, and it's Greg. But he's one of these specialists that we said, if we sponsor you, will you go travel every single weekend and
Mm,
be the canvassing anchor, basically? Any car he's in, you're gonna learn how to canvass.
mm,
You're gonna knock a bunch of doors. He's gonna push really hard. He's gonna go into the places people are afraid to knock on. He's gonna talk to Trump voters. He's gonna walk down the long driveways. He's gonna go into a gated community. He's gonna do all these things. We have more of those people that we've sponsored. So as we made that pivot, we did that. The other thing is that we realized that community was more important to downloading these tough doors. And so what does that mean? It means that we're going to have more team dinners, and we're going to pay for those so everyone can come together. We're going to rent big rooms because we need to make sure everybody debriefs every single day together as a team. And if you've got 200 people, you got to pay for the space to have those people all together debriefing. So there is a pivot as soon as we hit those first set of doors on that first trip, where we realized, okay, Kamala is going to win by talking to independents and Republicans. Our volunteers, even though we told them earlier in the year, even though the first half of the year was this, all talking to Democrats, turning out our base, we now have to pivot, and that the cost line changes a little bit with that. So it's not just a dollars sending out individual door knockers. It's also, what is it going to take for our community to knock on these doors?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I really do. Because there is a cost for this kind of America to build, right?
Yeah.
It costs money. We can't just wish it into being. We
Mm-hmm.
can't. It's a cost in terms of physical travails. There's a cost emotionally. There's a cost financially. Um, and that's, I think, what those of us who believe in freedom, which is a famous Ella Baker kind of
Mm-hmm.
phrase, for those of us who believe in freedom, um, is we have to bear that cost. We
Yep.
have to bear that cost. Um, so that's what our final stretch is all about. And I genuinely see you and our other staff um, doing the final stretch. Like, you are doing the final stretch. That's what you
Yeah.
are. And that's fatiguing, that's challenging, that's all of that. That's these podcasts every day. It's all kinds of things. Um, that's the final stretch. And it's what it takes. It's what it takes. Um, so I believe, Ben, that you made a goal of, over 1,000. You were like, can we get to 1,200 volunteers? This was a couple months ago. Can we get to like 12?
Yeah.
And like maybe Ben, I mean, maybe Puyo was like secretly like maybe 100,000 doors. All right. And Charles like, maybe we can get all of 200 people into Arizona. I mean, like all these things. And like this is where we are, and this is what it takes. Like we're not going to win without this.
Yeah. This is
Mm-hmm.
what it takes. Yep. These are the voters. These are the voters. These are the tough conversations. These are the places. This is the volume of work that it's going to take.
Yeah. Um, so just to finish up today, what's from the field work team tomorrow night? We're gonna have an update on data we're seeing nationally. This will be at 5 p.m. Pacific time.
Oh, this is our final
Yeah,
stretch
the
event.
Wednesday.
So
Yeah, yeah,
we
yeah.
did last Wednesday. So this is the second in the series. We're going to do
Yep.
this Wednesday,
Yeah, it's
five
tomorrow night.
o'clock
So we're gonna have
Pacific.
some data. Yeah, 5 p.m. Pacific time. Some data updates. We're gonna talk again about the Washington Third and give an update on how we
Mm-hmm.
can support there, and we're gonna get some updates from our field folks in the field. And how on a scale of 1 to 10, how tired? If 10 is like barely functioning, Ben and Charles, what are you right now?
Well, let me just say that tomorrow we're flying back, David. So just in case we need to be on that Zoom. Um,
Oh, okay, okay,
I
okay,
think
sure.
I think I'm like at a I don't know, I feel like I'm at an 8. I'm pretty tired. I think it would be inhumane to not be tired right now. Um, but I still got some gas in me. I think I have to for the next whatever I don't have, I'm gonna get because I'm gonna need it the next 7 days.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of it goes up and down. I think a tough a tough day at knocking doors, or community runs into a speed bump or something, and it kind of drains us a little bit. I know that this is the tail end of this leg, and we're heading home, so it's probably, yeah, eight's a good number. I think eight's a good number, but we're gonna get recharged. What's today, the 29th? Tomorrow's travel day. I'm gonna spend Halloween with my little girl, and then everyone's gonna get on a plane on Friday.
Yep.
And
Yep.
everybody, all of us are gonna travel to Arizona. And I'm bringing the family to Arizona to knock on doors for a couple days too, all my kids. So that kind of stuff, this last week, this I guess is a message to everybody too. Whether you're knocking on doors or doing remote work, or watching on the sidelines, this is going to be a draining week. This is going to be draining. It's going to be, some of the wildest things that we've seen is going to come out of the Trump campaign. The stochastic violence, like the mail boxes getting bombed, and then just our general anxiety levels. The voters that we're talking to on the doors are going to be tired and drained, and that's going to affect how the doors go. Be ready for that. Be ready for that. Give yourself room to recharge. Lean on each other. That's what we're telling people, is that one of the ways you're going to get through this as a community, doing the work on the ground, is you got to lean on each other and pace yourself. So have patience with each other and with yourself, because you're going to need it.
This candle right here, this is something my wife ordered. It says, this candle smells like electing Kamala Harris. All right. Coconut is what it smells like.
Of
I was
course
going
it
to
is.
say it better be. It
Yep.
better be. You're going to burn that. You're going to burn that this week. You should burn a little bit,
Absolutely. Yes.
I
a little
love
bit every
that.
day.
I love that.
From
It's
Emily's
good.
list. All right.
Oh,
Oh, there you
okay.
go.
Maybe we should get into the expanding our merch line, maybe.
Hey,
Yeah.
thank you both. All right. We'll see
All
ya.
right.
Thanks,
Let's
David.
do it.
See ya.
Take
Bye-bye.
care.
See ya.
Bye.